Well, I've got to be honest with you here. This is a bit of a weird start to the season for me to try and gauge because, as we expected in the past couple of months, our form has massively picked up and we've taken advantage of a very fortunate run of fixtures on paper. However, despite our improvement in terms of results, it's still not been wholly convincing in front of goal, and that's due to increasing unhappiness about wages and a number of frustrating injuries. Today, we've got two tough tests as we start another unfortunate and horrid run of games. This is where we're going to really be tested, so let's go and see how we get on. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 93 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. We are back up in fourth place and we have taken advantage of playing virtually all of the bottom half back to back. However, now we've got a few more tests both domestically and in Europe as we face ninth place Sheffield United away, who are just 3 points behind us in a congested top half of the table. No one really running away with great form at the start and lots of teams taking points off each other. And 4 days later, we go away to the final side of our head coach career as Bayern Munich are the side looking to do well against us. And spoiler alert, they've got a much bigger squad in this save than they had in the one where our director of football was in charge of it. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on in those two as we go into it without our top scorer Joe Wills due to injury, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Despite all of the negatives, and it maybe sounds a bit weird me coming back quite negative based on the results, but despite that, we are picking up results, and so far, we can't really complain about our league season. We said we wanted to be in that mix for the Champions League again, try and become a consistent European side, and so far, we look like we're on course to do that. However, as you can see, the table's very tight. Now, since you were last with me, it has largely been victories, but as you can see, the level of opposition is not of that we faced in August. There's no Arsenal, City, and Villa there, albeit City have been getting thumped a few times recently. And it's also part of the reason we've come back now, because our next run of games, Sheffield United, Bayern, Newcastle, who are having a poor year, but then Chelsea, Barcelona, Liverpool, Spurs, United, Galatasaray, there's going to be a few tests in that next month or so. But we have also had heartbreak the week after you were here, because we got through a 1-0 win away at Hull, where again we weren't convincing in front of goal, but we nicked one, Joaquin Jimenez doing a job. Then this game, we fought so hard against United. We rested a few, we rotated a bit, and we were really rock solid defensively. We played almost the way we used to when we first came up to the division away from home. We got to penalties, but then Christian Rakowski missed the youngster, and Jude Sadler, despite a brilliant 90 minutes, could not save one from the spot. Since then, though, we've bounced back in style. Yes, it means another trophy's probably gone, but crucially, the 3 games we said we've probably got to win in a Champions League, we have done. So after beating Brentford 4-1 thanks to Luis Vasquez's first goal, and then late ones by Baranda, Jimenez again and Drew O'Day from a set piece, we won 2-1 against Wolfsburg in another one of those tight matches. Lucien Agume, a player we managed in FM23 with Rangers on Twitch, he scored against us here. We came back with Aaron Berek, who started the match, and Joe Wills, who got one off the bench. Against Norwich away from home, no European hangover thanks to the rotation, but it was a tight game. Cameron Archer equalising just after half-time for them. You can see we lost Giuliano and Ivanov to injury. We just keep picking up so many muscular strains at the minute. But De Angelis and Baranda, 2 fullbacks to the rescue. Baranda off the bench with the winner. Thankfully for us, Antwerp nowhere near as strong as in the head coach, where they've been taken over by a tycoon and won the Europa League. Here, they're basically the whipping boys of the Champions League phase, and we beat them by 7-1 thanks to Adamson, Memic, O'Day. Takazuka got a penalty and then a hat-trick for Kranjic, the new striker. Nice for him to get off the mark, and he has scored a couple since. Against Derby, we won 4-0 thanks to a Joe Wills hat-trick and Drew O'Day. That game was over at half-time, but we did lose Jude Sadler due to injury. He just came back for the Brighton game. Against Leeds, we won by 3-1 after that weird 3 or 4 week international break. Ivanov, Wills and Rakowski getting a goal apiece, and that made it a comfortable win, but Yukalano got injured in that one. Away at AEK Athens, a 2-1 victory. It was more comfortable than it looked. They scored a late goal, but prior to that, we were dominant without taking chances. Mauricio ended his goal drought, his first of the year, and Kranjic got one too. And then 2-0 at home to Brighton, thanks to Vasquez and Kranjic, two of the new boys starting to become more of the stars of this team, both off the bench with heroic moments, and leaving me with a decision to make today. It's a rare week where we've had the whole week off, and this run of fixtures is going to be pretty brutal going into Christmas. But we've got ourselves into a decent position, and even if we have a poor run now against the top sides, we should still be in the mix come the festive period. But for now, let's go and get through via the dynamics, which are a little problematic. Yes, we're okay at the moment, but Harrison and Parker are edging towards wanting to leave, and while they're not probably good enough anymore, and we're close to being able to replace them, I am wary of the fact that they're long-term legends, leaders in the hierarchy groups, and I want to hold on to them for that reason, but equally I don't want them to become unhappy, so we might have to make a decision and a balancing act move there in January or certainly next summer. We've got Takatsuka, Berek and Mauricio all complaining about their contract. We did have De Angelis as well, who ended his unhappiness, and a couple of others have popped up at times as well. Soren Hansen wants more playing time, but has rejected several loan moves away. Don't really understand that. And Luis Vasquez, I didn't realise we'd promised to sign him someone to help settle in, and we haven't signed another Uruguayan, so he's going to be unhappy about that. But he is improving and doing well, and I want him to because I feel he is one of the biggest stars we've got at this club for the future. So certainly a few problems there. We've got a couple of injuries at the moment in Wills and Yucalano. We've also had Sadler out recently. Joaquin Jimenez keeps picking up knocks, but we're doing okay despite that. What we can't afford though is more injuries going into this spell, because away at Sheffield United, with Doku, with Barr, with Curtis Jones, Paul Vanner is injured today, but obviously we know from Bayern how good he is. It is a Sheffield United side that are finally delivering on their quality again after one brilliant season a few years ago. So let's get through to the team selection and see what's available. This is what played last time, a week or so ago, and the only difference is today really that we've got to make decisions up front with Mauricio, Ivanov and Kranjic. Ivanov had ended his goal drought a game ago, but didn't look great last week either. We've got to make decisions on which unhappy players we play and which ones we try and offer a new contract. We are at the stage now where if we get to Europe this year, we're going to have to start paying top dollar. It's as simple as that. We've got Takazuka playing unhappy because Yucalano's injured. So it's just messing with the balance of the happiness in the squad at the minute. And while we've got a fairly settled defence and we're not conceding a huge amount of goals, going forward is definitely the main problem. Despite that, I think we are going to stick with the majority of what played before. Jimenez is one I would like to take out, but for an away game like this, I don't think it's the right decision. On the left, we have been rotating between Adamson and Vasquez, but I'd mainly like to play the others in the Champions League. And I feel like we should bring in Kranjic today. But again, is the Champions League better for him? Mauricio, not the best performer at the moment. Do I leave him in the squad as well? He's not happy at the moment either. Or do I bring in Joe Hugill, who for this sort of game, just having a target man can make the difference. I think that's what we're going to do. So that means our 11 in full. If I'm careful about this, we're going to put Ishmael on the bench for Parker. And I think the rest will stay the same. Peacock starting to decline again, which is a little bit of a worry, the youngster we signed. But this is the team we've gone for. It is Jude Sadler, back fit in goal for the second game in a row. Memic and De Angelis at fullback with Herbert and O'Day in the middle. We got Takazuka and Adamson out wide, Bernberg and Jimenez in the middle. And then Ivanov is joined by Super Joe Hugill, who today needs to deliver for me. Through to Sheffield United we go. Not a ground we've always done brilliantly at. Hopefully today we can make it comfortable. I'm not convinced we will though. It's Jordi Cruyff's side, make two changes today. Abdallah Bar comes in, another name you'll recognise. They've now signed Amad Diallo as well, who's on the bench, as is Ebaseli, who's been there before. But they've just got a really solid team, and they should have been doing better a few years now. So let's ask the lads to prove a point. We've got most of them motivated. Hopefully the first half performance will live up to it, because most of the time this season, we have actually scored the first goal, but then we've conceded an equaliser immediately and had to fight for the win late on. So hopefully today we can avoid that. We are now in good form. Well, 6 minutes on the clock, and it's Sheffield United on the attack. And here they come down the left-hand side. Good ball into Doku, who we know is tricky. I think he's still only about 31. And trust me, he's still got plenty of pace in there to burn. The touchline tablet's on the go again. There's been some real shock results across the division this season. Like City have lost 1 6-0. There's been a few 4-0s and 5-0s between the top sides. There's not been too many close ones up there. But early doors again, we've not looked that convincing, as Cooper's got the ball at the back to Jensen. Sheffield United on the ascendancy at home, and they play it into the middle, but Joe Hugill does well. Ever the reliable, not in a Champions League squad, but doing his job for us domestically again. To think we nearly let him go this summer. Herbert goes wide to De Angelis, and now Adamson. Down the left-hand side, big early ball in. Ivanov's up, it falls for Takatsuka. Hugill's in the middle, off the post he tried to shoot. Ivanov recycles it, but it's given away. And Doku can bring it clear for United. Only as far as halfway though. And Southend have their first little spell of this game. Nothing to show for it, but we didn't hit the target. However, we did hit the woodwork, which is an improvement on the first 20 minutes. We're just a couple of minutes to the break, and it is going well in terms of the stats. We're starting to get in the ascendancy, but we've not really shown enough to score here. Not sure why Jude Sadler is nervous, because he's not the type that normally is. However, as we move into the second half, we're going with Sheffield United from the kickoff, which is never a good sign. Here they go with Jensen, playing down the left towards Doku. Chance to take on his man, and my word has he skinned him. Memic gets back though, into Jimenez who does well. Memic back to the keeper, Sadler chips away. Hugill flicks on for Ivanov, great flick from the striker. What can Teddy do? Nothing. He holds it up, doesn't trust his pace. Just clearly lacking in confidence at the minute. Shoots from 30 yards, it's optimistic. Goes miles over the bar. Unfortunately, it stays goalless as Memic finds Takatsuka. And this has been a story of the season. You remember late last year where we were flowing, we were scoring goals for fun. We were just sort of running around teams. Now it's a little bit lacking in confidence. It's half chances and giving away ones on the counter here with Doku, who finds Ray. And this has come from us hitting the post with Memic, and then he's out of position at right back. Adamson does really well. And Herbert gives it away on the edge of his own box. And Roberto Ray, I don't know how he's missed. I really don't know how he's missed that. We get away with murder there because 10 minutes into the second half, and it should be 1-0 Sheffield United. We know we normally finish these games strong, but I think we're going to need changes for it because, again, Ivanov, the morale's down. I'm going to bring on Kranjic, who's motivated, and on paper, is the best striker at the club bar Wills. Takatsuka has had a poor game. We've not got a natural replacement on the right, so I'm going to bring on Vasquez and switch Adamson over. He can do that job out there. We've got De Angelis on a yellow at left back and struggling, so Cameron Ishmael on for him. And then Jimenez, he's not had the best game. Bernberg in the middle, Berek will switch sides. We've got one more change remaining if we need it. 25 minutes to go. Look, Sheffield United are yet to have a shot on target, but they have just had the best chance of the match. What we haven't done is look like converting ours. Nearly 2 expected goals, but not really produced when it matters most. Now we tend to go, Hugill struggling. I've got to throw on Mauricio. He scored recently. He ended that goal drought. I'm not going to go attacking because I actually think a point's a decent result here. I'm going to give one more dose of encouragement. We're going to try it with 6 minutes added on to get another late goal. It's our speciality. Memic throws into Adamson. Back to Berek in the middle. And Bernberg deflects into Mauricio. Oh, he's got to shoot. He takes an age. Vasquez down the left to Ishmael. Into the box to Mauricio. Super sub delivers. That's why he wants the new contract, because he's popping up with the big goals. And Southend United, in stoppage time, another late goal, another possible late winner. Let's get the fullbacks on defend. Let's get time wasting, because a 1-0 win here, it would sort of sum up our season. We've not been brilliant. We've not been that attacking. We've not been able to score goals. However, we've shown that spirit, and defensively, we've probably been the most solid we've ever been. Famous last words, I'm sure. Let's time waste frequently. Let's play for set pieces. When we get it, we're going to slow it down. We're not going to counter. And we're going to drop that line of engagement. There are 2.5 minutes of stoppage time to go. Mauricio at the moment looks like being the late hero. A big, big win for Southend United. It should have been more. We're really struggling to score with regularity. But a 1-0 win, we're keeping the machine going and we're keeping the points on the board. This is a Southend side that at the moment, whisper it quietly, are playing like champions. And with 10 games gone, we've got ourselves level with Liverpool and United at the top. Now we've got the daunting task of going away to Bayern in midweek. With 9 points on the board now and us virtually through, I think for the Bayern game, for the Barca game, we're probably just going to rest people because I'm not sure that it's worth the risk of playing these people to try and get an extra home advantage in the second leg, for example. So I'm not going to worry about that. We've got one more game against Galatasaray that I think we should win at home, and we'll probably go for it in that one. Against Inter, Liverpool, Barca and Bayern, I think we're going to play the reserves. And then for the last two, we'll change our tactics if we don't get the result against the Turks. Well, as we return for fitness test time, we may have resolved a couple of our problems of their own accord. Now, the first of them, if we go through to the squad, is the contractual situations. We have 3 players unhappy. Well, one of them has provisionally agreed a new deal. Mauricio accepting a reduced wage of just under 50 grand a week, which is in line with our sort of squad level at the minute, as you can see. That would be absolutely fine by me. And then that unhappiness for now. The other things we've got to look at are what we do with Aaron Berek, who's only got 18 months on his contract and won't sign a deal for under 120 grand a week, which I'm not really keen to pay for a backup that doesn't work that hard and has never been absolutely outstanding for us. So what I'm going to do instead is go and make an offer and buy this guy, who's now on a work permit. He's a bit of a weird one. 11.5 million release clause, found brilliantly by our scouting team again. A Greek player would be the first at the club, I think. And 11.5 million for an 18-year-old that will become homegrown at the club. And more importantly, while he is listed as a natural centre-half, is training as a centre-mid, and I would argue is as good, if not better than Berek already, offers additional versatility, additional determination, and the work rate is very different. I love this guy, and I think he is going to be an unbelievable signing. So he is the next one that we're looking to get in, providing the work permit goes well. And I'd imagine for Berek, even with 18 months remaining, we'll manage to get more than 11 million from somewhere. So hopefully that will end up being a good deal. And Berek we paid 5 million for, should be a pretty tasty profit. If for any reason he changes his mind, Alfie Harrison is someone who wants to go out, who's maybe not quite at that level now. And again, if we can make money for him, someone we bought for 1.7 million, then that would be a great deal too. So definitely a number of options there for issues that may resolve themselves. Other players, unfortunately, Takat Zuka wants a silly wage, and he's not actually brilliant. I know he's had his moments, and he was a bit of a hero at the end of last season, but I don't think I can justify it. When he's got interest from Saudi for 40-50 million, I think I can get a better right winger for that price. So Takat Zuka may well be the next one out, I'm afraid. For now, though, we've got to focus on Bayern Munich as we go away in the Champions League, and as we said, we're going to take a bit of a gamble here, try and keep our league form going. So as a result of that, with 3 wins out of 3 already, it is 3rd v 4th in the league phase, but I'm not putting pressure on the result. A number of those players we just mentioned are going to play today, and we're going to go a little backs to the wall and a little bit for a backup team. So we're going to make a lot of changes. We're going to keep a few in, so Sadler needs fitness in goal because he's been out injured for a while. The strikers, we've not got that many options, and a couple of them will stay with other players returning at the weekend. But it's going to be pretty much a fully changed 11 here. So we'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, it's as good as a full rotation for this Bayern Munich game as we start with, I think, just Jude Sadler and Takat Zuka from the last match. Of course, Kranjic and Mauricio were featuring off the bench, and Mauricio was the hero in the end. He gets a start in this one ahead of what will hopefully be his new deal. Now, 11 in full is Jude Sadler in goal. Baranda, the latest, complaining about a lack of first team minutes. He's at fullback alongside Ishmael. We've got Peacock and Parker in the middle as Peacock's now improving again and starting to find himself some progress. Takatsuka and Vasquez out wide with Berek alongside Rakowski, who's in the middle instead of Harrison as we try and develop him further. The wonder kid and he needs football. I don't trust him quite enough for centre-half with Peacock just yet. And then up front is Kranjic and Mauricio as we hope that there's goals among them again. Let's submit the team as we head off to Bayern. A side we know well from the head coach series. Will they have any familiar names there? And will they have a stronger squad? I think we know the answer to the second one. Well, there we go. A full substitutes bench for Bayern. Lots of senior level players. Lots of quality young players. They've done it properly in this save. Julian Nagelsmann is back in charge. They've got Querfeld at centre-half, who we also managed in the head coach, but at Marseille. And then looking forward, Tells up front is a quality player. Almada the same. But a lot of youth in this side as well. Are a really quality team. So let's get through the dressing room. Let's go and tell the lads to go out and impress us. I'm not sure we're going to be able to pull up many trees tonight, but if we can keep it respectable and keep these young players developing, it's the reason we brought in the likes of Peacock and Rikoski, the likes of Vasquez. We want them to play in big matches. We want them to develop. And these are the sorts of nights where it's a great learning experience, even if you can't get the win. But if you do have a good day and if you do rise to the occasion, we've got players capable of making a difference. As Takatsuka finds Baranda, we're playing it along the back with Harrison Parker. He goes to Peacock. Maybe a little bit of a concern. He's not that quick or strong yet. His composure's improving already as we go long with Sadler towards Kranjic. Loses the header to Lambert and it's away downfield from Bayern. And this looks like it might get a little bit hairy here. Mora drifts left. Taking on his man and he's beating him with ease. Who's been drifting out there? We got done whichever one it is as Parker puts it away. Trying to work out who 15 was. It was Kranjic all the way back there. Blimey, no wonder we look defensive as Rikoski nicks it in midfield. There's the bonus of a defender back there. Chips over to Kranjic. Oh my word, that's stunning. Rikoski with a through ball. Kranjic in one-on-one. We're checking with VAR. I'm pretty sure it was on. Saw the keeper was coming to close him down. Just dinked it over him with the perfect amount of height. No risk of it going over the bar. And there is a glimpse into the future. Two of the signings from the last two windows. A combined what? 10 million quid, if that. What a deal it is. Rikoski picking it up in the middle again. This time his ball forward to Mauricio is intercepted by Querfeld. It's chipped left towards Mora. Baranda flies in, gets a touch on it, but doesn't stop the possession. It's into the box. Rikoski clears. Basically playing as a fifth centre-half when we're defending. Aslani in towards Jimenez, drifting wide for Bayern. They've got five in the middle if they can find them. Kazoni's up, but so is Parker. Falls for Amsfeld though. He's in again. And this time they do score. 1-1. We've had our moments to enjoy. Takatsuka not tracking the left back there. Unfortunately, it's cost us. We've got a quarter of the game at one apiece though. And you know what? I'm quite happy with the performance as we're going straight from the kickoff again. It's a nice football there with Mauricio, Kranjic and Rikoski. But we don't get in. Baranda wins another tackle, as does Rikoski. It's a bit of a frantic game this, which you would expect with a lot of young players. But we're having a go, which I like, as Rikoski again wins it. What a game he's having. Flies down the left-hand side, finds Vasquez. Can we get a bit of magic from him? To the byline, three in the middle. Kranjic is one, the keeper comes. And he manages to get there, unfortunately for us. It's a long old highlight. We're still going with the Bayern keeper. And I do worry this might lead to a goal at the other end. We need to nick possession early here. Or this could be a bit of a sad end to this one. Jimenez finds Kazoni and Almada. Here come Bayern. Aslani over the top. Tell's got in behind. Yep, 2-1 Bayern. 2 goals in 3 minutes. And even in between that, we've had a good go. But that's the problem when you put a very young backup team out. We've not got the quality out wide. We've not got the pace through the middle. Unfortunately, we've not got the experience in a lot of areas. And those that are probably aren't good enough for this level. 10 to the break though. 2-1 and we've had a go. We've scored the best goal of the game, which is good enough for me. As here we are again doing the defensive work. As Bayern work down the left. They've grown into this game now. Look a lot more confident playing their style. As Amsfeld gets down the left to Kazoni. Nice one too. Branda and Takatsuka, they just keep flying into weird challenges. As Mora gets to the byline, he finds Kazoni again. This could go 3. Great save, Sadler. Ah, that's great goalkeeping. Do you know what? There is an element of pride watching this. I'm almost feeling like I'm at a Luton game again this season, watching us in the Premier League against the odds. 2-1, it's not been a bad effort at all. And Jimenez has a throw on the right again to Aslani. Ball into the box, Sadler comes, big punch. Rikoski's not there, but Takatsuka is. Kranjic then loses possession though. You can see the morale's just drifting away as they dominate. And Parker's given away a penalty. That's what I meant about the experienced players maybe not quite being at this level. And that will probably be the final nail in the coffin for this game if it's given before the break. It is. Penalty awarded. Jude Sadler's not got the best record for saving them. Who's stepping up for Bayern Munich? It is Almada versus Sadler. Straight down the middle. 3-1. Unfortunately, it's game over. It was fun while it lasted. Now it's damage limitation. Well, corner kick for Bayern. And this could get a bit ugly now. It's into the back post. Querfeld heads in for 4. And you know what? For all that we've not been the better side in this game, this is a little bit harsh now. We've had a really good defensive record this season. but the confidence has gone and we're falling apart. At half time, 4-1, they've only had 5 shots on target. I think I'm going to take Takatsuka off, who's actually been the worst player. I don't really have any natural replacements on the right. What I could do is put Kranic out there and bring on Worcester, but it's probably not right yet. So we'll actually leave it for 10 more minutes. We'll try and get through it without any further damage. You can see Peacock's having a poor game again. Parker's not been great. Takatsuka, Berek struggling. There's a few players that could do with coming off here. And we've also got to think about one of the strikers for the weekend. But the expected goals is only 2 for Bayern, and that includes a penalty. So to be 4-1 down is a little bit harsh. But with 65 on the clock, let's get the subs on. We're going to go Takatsuka off. Don't really want to bring Adamson on here. I think I'm going to put Kranic out wide and Casey Worcester up front. Harrison on for Berek is an easy one. Vasquez struggling on the left as well. I think we'll leave it at just those 2 for the minute, but there will be a few more to follow. The flip side of this, though, is I don't want to play too many of the first teamers for too many minutes, as Branda finds Kranic down the right into Mauricio. Good save by the keeper. And again, that lack of clinical edge. Mauricio on the floor. I know he was the hero at the weekend, but he's not quite as clinical as the others. Kranic puts the corner in. Back post, it's there. Headed away via Peacock as far as Vasquez. And now he can get down the right, but that's such a heavy touch. And at the moment, he's just not quite got settled. And it is the problem this summer where we've brought in 3 or 4 new players that are featuring a lot. We've not quite got that same confidence in our play that we would normally. We've encouraged the lads, but with 15 to go, we will make the final 4 changes now, or final 3, sorry. We're going to bring on De Angelis for Ishmael at left back. I'm going to take Vasquez off, I think. Or am I? No, I'm going to leave him on. Mauricio will come off for Teddy Ivanov. He'll switch sides, I think, with Worcester, who is still 6 foot. He can do the job there. And then the final sub will go for Harrison Parker off for Jimenez. And then we'll put Rakowski back at centre-half because there's no further damage to be done now. 15 minutes remaining. It's been a good effort. We've scored a great goal, and it's great to get Kranic among the goals again. And there are positives here. Rakowski's performance has been good in midfield. Kranic has done really well up front, but there are a few that aren't quite settled yet. And I think we're still a little way from that elite level, certainly in Europe. Querfeld gives the ball away to Vasquez, though. Would be nice if we could get another goal. Lovely to see the academy player Worcester on, though. And that's a decent through ball, which Jimenez can't quite reach. And Bayern mop it up again. I just don't want this to get out of hand. I don't want it to become a 5-6-7-1. Because that could be a confidence knocker as Harrison wins it back. Does really well to find Kranic on the right. Through ball to Teddy Ivanov, who puts it wide. I don't know what it is this season. None of our strikers have got that ruthless edge that they've normally had. Ivanov and Wills are regular 20-goal-a-season men. They've just not quite got it this year. And I don't know the reasoning for that. The midfield behind it is basically the same. Is it Ukulano missing? Is it the lack of Sam Ammo? I don't know. The lads are unhappy. I said you're underdogs, you did all right. You're a young team, but the fact they're disappointed, as I've said before, probably a good thing. 9 points out of 12 is not bad going, though. And we've got everyone rested for the weekend. We won the game that mattered against Sheffield United, but now we come into a rotten run of fixtures. And I want to make sure, as always, I show you more of the tougher games, because there's no point me showing you beating Derby 4-0, Leeds 3-1, etc. Let's show you the big games. We're going to get through the rest of this month. I'm not going to show you the Champions League game because I'm planning to rest everyone again against Barca. We'll get through Newcastle, who are struggling, Chelsea away, and we'll show 2 of these 3 matches. Liverpool and Manchester United are 2 of the top 3 at the minute. We'll show 1 of those home games with Spurs away in the middle because the away games are always trickier. And we'll judge that based on where Liverpool and United are when we get to them. So 2 games coming up pretty soon. Premier League will be the focus. Then we start January with City and the FA Cup. So there's plenty more fun to come. Everton away at that point as well. There's some big games on the horizon. If you're looking forward to that and you did enjoy this one, young players impressing but not doing enough at Bayern after a huge late win away at Sheffield United, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. That was actually the first game this season we conceded more than 1 goal, which shows a real shift in our style and stats without changing much tactically. Maybe those new defensive players give us a bit more strength in depth. And maybe the fullbacks we signed last summer are now back up to full strength. O'Day's improved as well. It's starting to look settled. I cannot have too many complaints. If you want to stay up to date and make sure you don't miss the rest of the season, then subscribe and turn that notification bell on. If you missed part 3 of our little experiment about the director of football, you can find that from yesterday up in the eye above. Come and check it out if you haven't seen it already. There will be a 4th bonus part to that tomorrow. Basically a request from most of you guys in the comments relating to the director of football and a little pattern we could try. And then on Sunday, we will be starting a brand new series, but it's one that you'll probably know from a few months ago if you've been following both. So keep your eyes peeled for that as well. Southend continues, and we'll be back in 2 days' time for that. Links in the eye above to the Twitch channel, the football podcast, and so much more. Come and join us as we're live tonight watching a big Premier League game and playing FM. We're up in Scottish football at Aberdeen there, and it's interesting competing with Thursday night football. Thank you very much for watching though. It's been great to have you along. Now the focus is on the Premier League as we look to stay in a race for the Champions League, and who knows, maybe even a title race.